views expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
Hi, welcome. This is Dr. John DeMartini. This is one of the most amazing and inspiring shows that you can listen into. If you want to be on the edge of your seats, if you want to open up your heart, if you want to expand your mind, and you want to meet incredible people, stay tuned because you're just about to experience a transformative radio show that will change your life. And you're listening to the Dr. Pat Show that's coming up right next.
The following audio is via a Skype call.
Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. Talk radio to thrive by. Powerful, inspiring, and coming to you live, bringing you stories of people like you and me busting through and living life full out. Get ready to dare to wonder what your life would be like if you knew you could not fail. Wow. Hey, everybody. I want to welcome you. Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. Welcome to Transformation Talk Radio. Welcome to our soulmate channel. OMG. We are jumping up and down, excited to be talking with all of you today. I cannot say enough about the people that I get to work with on a regular basis. And I just want to say to all of you that have been listening, tuning in, hearing us talk with Margaret Ann about our crowdfunding initiative and other things, what I want to say is it takes a village. And on this day, Valentine's Day, as you're going to hear from my super duper guest, Lilith Dorsey, today, love is this thing. There is a magic about it. There is a love magic about it. And you're going to hear what this means about becoming that love potion in your own life. But does being this love potion and being in the zone of love magic, does it mean that life is all good? Or does it mean you get to learn some powerful ways to use the magic to bring the love you need in your life as you do step forth and change the world? So today I want to introduce you to my super guest, Lilith Dorsey. She is the author of Love Magic, over, you ready, folks? 250 spells and potions. So what I want to say to y'all about calling into the show today, do you have something you would like to change? Do you have something you want to change? Do you want to know what the potion is to change that? I don't know. Are you thinking, I am sleeping next to a snorer tonight, and I'm not sure I can feel the love today as that freight train of a partner sleeping next to me is bringing into my juicy zone tonight? Well, that may be one thing, but I'm telling you, there's a lot more. Lilith hails from many magical traditions, including Celtic, Afro-Caribbean, Native American spirituality, and she and I got a lot to talk about, whether it's about plant science, anthropology, or it's simply about my old school Southern roots, New Orleans voodoo. Lilith, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you so much for having me here. This is so much fun. I'm so excited. We get to talk about all the good stuff, the juicy bits, everything.
You are totally fun. You're like the total fun magical chick. Uh-oh, did I insult you right there?
No, not at all. You're talking about New Orleans and Southern roots, that's, I'm down home girl. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. And yet there's something about this. People have asked me, and I'm going to ask you the same question. They said to me, Pat, we don't get it. Your birth mother killed herself, committed suicide, and then your dad married, this woman from the South. And you talk about her learning intuition, perseverance, and, what's that all about? Well, I waited for you to come on the show so we can talk about this. There's something from my Southern roots, of growing up with a mom that believed in so many different venues of things. And I'm telling you, she believed in magic, and she also believed in spirituality as a Christian. And many people think those two things can't exist. I would beg to differ. What's your journey? What is it that you've had to overcome? What did you have to learn, okay, to bring you right here to this very moment?
Well, I had a lot of, hardships going along the way. My daughter was murdered, so that was a hard thing to deal with. I've had PTSD and other struggles, but I think that self-love is so important. And I had to get to that place of self-love and a place where I could understand my place in the universe. So there was a lot of that. But magically, you talk about the differences between non-traditional spirituality and traditional Christianity. My parents named me Lilith, which those of you know is a ancient love goddess and sexuality goddess, So it came with a big bag of stuff to it that I had to negotiate. And then they sent me to Lutheran school. So I had 11 plus years of that. So I know my Bible better than certainly most pagans do, but to me, spirituality is spirituality. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it's all the same, but you can be passionate and connect to divinity however feels right and special for you. And that was really the most important part of my journey.
I love it. So here's what I want to say to you, because I know this is true of you in what I could read. And certainly, I just want to make sure you all out there, you know how to find out more about Lilith. And we'll make sure that that's given to you right out of the gate. But the first thing you should know is that, we're talking today about love in the traditional sense, the non-traditional sense. But I want to talk about this Lilith from an ancient perspective as well. Can you fill us in? And I know you've got tons of this in the book. Can you fill us in on the ancient notions of magic and love? Clearly, we have seen movies about Merlin. I mean, come on. We've seen these things. Give us the real story.
Yeah, right. I had somebody ask me once, they were like, so where does King Arthur fit into the English line scheme? Which I thought was, that really tells you where most people's minds are about things.
Right,
but,
exactly.
I'm an anthropologist as well as being a priestess. And, when we look at these early figures and spirituality, a lot of times they're centered around the woman and around the goddess and things like that. We've got temples going back thousands and thousands of years to honor these feminine forces. And I think a lot of those things are still really useful and valid for us today for bringing love into our lives.
Okay, so let's talk about this, right? Love stories, love magic. I think if you think about some of the love magic, I am struck by the goddesses. If we can just talk a little bit about the goddesses. Is there any other body of dialogue that literally can top our dialogue about goddesses and love? Whether you're talking about love goddesses, Isis, dismembering, putting people back. Tell me a little bit, is there a relationship between magic, goddesses, right, and love?
I think there is because, love is the power behind life itself. We're talking about bringing forth life, mother goddesses, fertility goddesses. A lot of times these were the early ancient goddesses that people were looking to. So obviously love was involved. And you get a lot of, like I mentioned, symbols and things like that are connected to them. If you take, for example, the goddess Venus. Everybody knows about Venus.
Yeah.
I had to learn about Venus in school.
Yeah.
In mythology class, but I think this definitely gives us a powerful image that we can all resonate with, coming from the mother, coming from the earth mother. Even if you look at it, biologically, when we start out with chromosomes, we're women and then we turn men, get an extra chromosome and then turn into men. So in a way, we all have this force inside of us, not even speaking magic, just speaking scientifically. So we can attach ourselves to this and look back at our history and really value what's important. These goddesses are the most ancient. When you go back to it, it's like they're before time. And I think that that's really powerful.
Yeah. All right. We're going to go to a break in a minute, but I don't want to go to the break yet. Okay. 250 spells and potions. How the heck did you limit it to that?
It was hard. there was so much I wanted to put in there, and I wanted to put in there something for everybody, something from all different cultures. You know, I mentioned I have a background in anthropology, so I wanted people from every different tradition to be able to open it up and use something. Or even if somebody was not spiritual, but they know that they like rose quartz. So what'll happen if you mention the snore? Or what'll happen if I put the rose quartz under the bed with me and my snoring partner? Will that help create a better atmosphere of love? Well, it can, and if that's something that works for you, by all means, try it.
Okay. We're going to open up the phone lines here. And the reason I would love to do this with you, Lilith, is imagine all you listening, if I could call into the show on this day, Valentine's Day, or go to Transformation Talk Radio and go over to the instant question section right at the top, and you wanted to ask a question to make this the most excellent Valentine's Day in your life, what would be the question you'd ask about the potion you would like? Now, listen, you may want to exert a love for our political lawmakers today. What might that look like? Or it may be for your family, for your sister, for your brother, for your partner. 1-800-930-2819. There is absolutely no question out of the realm when it comes to love magic. What is the best way for people to follow you on social media, Lilith?
Well, it's Lilith Dorsey on all different social media channels. I'm trying to become Insta-famous, so I'm paying attention to my Instagram lately, but I'm on Twitter. I have a Facebook author page that people can follow, and that not only has my writings, my blog posts, also appearances, interviews, all the things that I do.
Oh, wow. Awesome. 1-800-930-2819. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back.
Whenever I'm alone with you, you make me feel like I am home again.
Transformation Talk Radio is dedicated to the education and awareness of Lyme disease.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Lyme Talk Radio. I'm Dr. Pat, joined here by
Dr. Nusheen Darvish.
Dr. Pat Basili and Dr. Nusheen Darvish will be bringing the most innovative, groundbreaking information, research, treatment innovations, and stories from those it affects every day.
I'm so excited to be talking about this.
We have so much to share.
Dr. Darvish and I are planning to do is connect the dots.
People suffering with all sorts of chronic diseases, it's time. It is time for them to transform.
Tune into Lyme Talk Radio and help keep our mission strong.
For the loyal listeners out there that have been listening to this incredible show on Lyme disease, we are not going to let you down. We're going to come through stronger and enrich the platform for Lyme disease awareness through Lyme Talk Radio. The message will continue, the conversations will become stronger, and the healing epic.
Are you ready to start winning at the game of life? Lynn Brown, host of Get Into It, Winning at the Game of Life, is here to help you reach places and goals that you never thought possible. Lynn is an intuitive healer with a specialized background in financial healing. She combines her intuitive nature and her wholesome approach to financial planning. To learn more about her financial planning services, contact her personally at intuit.com.
Introducing the Lucid Planet, a digital gathering place featuring cutting-edge, high-vibrational content that will empower and inspire you to become the greatest version of yourself. Visit the Lucid Planet today to stimulate your mind, body, and soul as you connect with a global community of like-minded people. The Lucid Planet is edited by renowned psychologist and author Dr. Kelly Neff, who is here to help you cope with anxiety, connect to your higher purpose, uncover your true passions, and live your dreams. Dr. Kelly's fresh, compassionate perspective emphasizes growth, transformation, healing, and thriving. Even in the face of adversity, say goodbye to bad news and low vibrational media for good and become part of the larger collective of people working together to navigate the global shift of consciousness and transform the world from within. Join the planet, the Lucid Planet. Visit thelucidplanet.com. Welcome home.
On the cutting edge of the new mainstream, Christine Upchurch is passionate about bringing together science, psychology, and spirituality in a way that can be applied to our everyday lives for true transformation. The Christine Upchurch Show, stellar conversations to illuminate your journey, engages some of the most outstanding visionaries on the planet in lively dialogue to inspire you to become that bright light you're meant to be. Join Christine every Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific Time on KKNW, AM 1150, and Transformation Talk Radio.
Feel like I am whole again. Whenever I'm alone with you, you make me feel like I am young again.
Yeah, boy, that's what I'm talking about. I am so thrilled to have Lilith Dorsey joining us here today on the show for more than one reason. One of the things I've always loved is, and certainly we have in our pop culture, we have had, Lilith, a fascination with magic, even though there are some spiritual traditions that say, no, 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 you can't get into the magic thing. I think under the surface, intuitively and subconsciously, we do believe in magic in a lot of ways. And yet at the same time, we now have a pop culture that's just exploding, right? With magic. We have a TV show called The Magicians. We have the whole Harry Potter, and now she's getting ready to do more magic. You know, we have practical magic with, Nicole and
Yes.
Sons. Yeah, right? We got all that going on. Tell me, are we now ready for a new magic? Are we ready for the love magic, Lilith?
I hope so. I really do. I think what the world really needs now is love in every facet, in every aspect, learning to love those around us, learning to love each other, learning to be able to coexist in a beautiful and loving way. I think that that's more important now than ever before. And I think that the media has sort of opened the door, and hopefully people will look and see what's really there, not just Hollywood, flash in the pan, but what's really possible for them to bring about in their own life through positive visualization, through use of crystals and oils and herbs and, their own magic that they knew was there all along.
So out of all of the spells you have in here, and I forgot to mention, we have opened up the phone lines for those of you out there, 1-800-930-2819. You want to find out a special potion or ritual, as I like to call them, for yourself. And there are many in here. I was referring to a few things that you had, and let's talk about the book if we could for a minute, because when you hear love magic, people go to a particular place. But I was amazingly surprised that when I opened up the book, it wasn't what I thought. You have an earth healing candle in here. So, you know what I mean? You have a happy home spell. Tell us about the book and tell us about these spells and potions and what they really are.
No, you're right. I think a lot of people have a conception of love spell being some sort of like binding thing or something like that. And there's definitely spells to bring you and your partner together in there, but there's so much more in this book as well. I mean, we need to start from a place of self-love and loving those that are around us and what on our home and things like that. So there's a lot of spells in here. As you mentioned, there's a happiness bath, which is one of my favorites that you can just take, it's a long day. I need to feel better about things. And you can jump in the happiness bath and bring that happiness and joy to you just by using simple elements that you can get, at the drugstore or online or wherever.
Well, for you sat through here and you created a number of these. Can I ask you a question? On your journey, in the process of creating this, What are some of these that you've personally used in your life, especially if you thought to yourself, man, I got to have something here to help me, like right now? What do you have, like a top 5?
I do have a top 5. Thank you for asking. The happiness bath that I mentioned is definitely in my top 5. I don't just use that as a bath. We put it in a spray bottle, and I spray it on the back of my neck or my hands before I'm going out. It really creates just such a feeling of happiness and joy. I have it going in a simmering pot right now. I use it almost all the time, so that's a really good place to start. One of the other ones I really like, there's a 3 roses spell in there for love, which it involves, rose water, which comes from rose petals, obviously, and also a rose quartz and a rose of Jericho, which is also called a resurrection plant. So you put those things together and you leave it out in the moonlight, and the rose of Jericho comes back to life. I don't know how many people are familiar with it, but it's all dried up when you get it, and when you put it in water, it starts to bloom again like a rose. So as that opens up, you'll be bringing, more love and more blessings and more joy into your life as it opens up, and healing from the rose quartz and, blessings from the rose petals. All of that stuff will be together, and it'll be beautiful. So that's one of my favorites that anybody can do at any time. And what I think also I love about this is there's a lot of actual cooking kitchen recipes in this book, because I'm a big foodie. I love eating, and I feel like food gives us the opportunity to put something magical in our bodies 3 times a day, or more. We have to eat anyway. So there's a chocolate-covered strawberries recipe in there that I love. I made it with one of my 2-year-old friends the other day, and he had so much fun dipping the chocolate all over himself and the strawberries, and it was really beautiful. It was such a happy experience that I could share with somebody who was 2, or you could share it with somebody who was 92. It doesn't matter. There's a lot of simple and easy things that you can do in there. And then I have to say, one of my favorites is the hot pants ginger spell, which a lot of people want to sort of invigorate their love life and things like that. So, putting a piece of ginger in your pocket, wrapping it in red cloth, you can use that as a way to sort of transform, down below and get those energies flowing and going together. And then I think probably my other personal favorite, there's a roasted rose chicken recipe in there, which is inspired by one of my favorite movies, like Water for Chocolate. So in that, we can use rose petals to bake with chicken together and then serve it to those we love.
Wow. There are many ways we can bring love into the world. And, you've really pretty much not left any stone unturned. Some of them you talk about as universal love spells. Some of them are more specific. I wanted to ask you, how have you been able to see the people that come to you and ask you for help? What's really on their mind? What are they most asking help for? Or is there not a pattern?
No, there's definitely a pattern. I think, obviously, as you would imagine, with love spells, people are thinking about, trying to bring love to them, possibly a lost love, or they're going through a divorce and they're trying to figure out, should I give up on this relationship? Should I continue with this relationship? So there's a lot of different things we do. And, it even surprises me sometimes. A lot of times the relationship is worth saving and worth working on and worth moving forward in a positive direction, even though it might not look like that right now. But there's things that they can do to heal themselves, to heal the communication in the situation, to bring them back together in a really loving way. And I think that's what always surprises me. And it surprises them, too, because, if things aren't going the way you want in love, it can seem very, very sad. And, it's so beautiful to me that I can help people move from that place into a more positive place. Yes, it might be with the partner they want back, or it might be with a new partner, or it might be just with a new understanding of themselves and their place in the world right now.
Okay, I've got to bring this up. I don't know if Benny can really pull up the song. I don't know if Benny even knows it. But, there are some of us that once upon a time heard a song called Love Potion Number 9. Love Potion Number 9. And, back in the day before the day before the day, there was a number 1 song about Love Potion Number 9 that literally, raised the hairs and eyebrows on a lot of people. In your book, you actually have a Love Potion Number 9. Tell me about that and what we can use that for. Yeah.
Of course, I had to have a love potion.
You had to. Yeah, totally had to.
Somebody was saying to me, everything in here is very musical. And I'm like, I'm just a musical person. So I think like when I was thinking about this, then it made sense to include my love potion number 9 formula. But, you know, there's a lot of different ways to bring love to you. There's a lot of different things. And I kind of like to explain it to people in the way that, you know, some people love peanuts. Some people are deathly allergic to peanuts. So we have different types of spells and formulas and potions because some things are going to work better for some people than others. You know, so my love potion number 9 has a lot of traditional things in it. It's got bergamot, cinnamon, jasmine, magnolia, and, you know, you mix those together and you charge it between your hands to get your own personal energy on it and then wear it to bring love to you. So it's very simple, but it's very effective. I have used that one for a very long time. It's one of my most popular potions that people ask for.
I love it. And by the way, for those of you out there, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we are going to go right to our instant messaging. But more importantly, we have a copy to give away of the book to our first caller that comes on air with a question. Maybe you're not sure what you want more love in your life about. We're going to help you with that. 1-800-930-2819. So first caller with a question coming on air, we got a copy of this book for you, Love Magic, over 250 spells and potions for getting it, keeping it, and making it last. For those of you out there, if you want to find out more about Lilith, you can go right to the website, lilithdorsey.com. But, you know, Facebook, Lilith Dorsey author, Twitter, Lilith Dorsey, Instagram, the same. Those of you out there, check it out. LilithDorsey.com is the website. I love this website. When we come back, we're going to talk about, what is voodoo, by the way? And what is it about, you know, my relatives and folks and the influence of the South that brings that to the forefront? Stay tuned, everyone. We'll be right back.
Find me somebody to love.
The 25th Annual Women of Wisdom Conference. Remember who you are, honoring ourselves, we heal the world. Is this February 16th through the 20th. WOW is calling for women to gather. This is the time for women to step into our power, support each other, share our stories, empower our dreams, and build leaders for our community and the next generation of women. Join us for life-changing, intimate workshops on diverse topics such as music, dance, art, sexuality, relationships, healing, goddess wisdom, life purpose, and more. Join us and be witnessed, valued, and inspired to discover your purpose and share your stories. WOW is one of the longest-running women's spirituality conferences in the world. You can register for individual events or enjoy the whole weekend. This February 16th through the 20th. Visit womenofwisdom.org.
Wow. Hey, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. This is Talk Radio to Thrive By. I'm telling you, I got to pinch myself some days because when each of us gets called to do something that we so not thought was in our wheelhouse to do for a purpose that's so much greater than us, we get to show up and shine.
If you would like to show up and shine on the Dr. Pat Show as a co-host or sponsor, send us an email to inspire@thedrpatshow.com.
Brand consultant Jen Morgan is here with Radically Distinct Radio to help you take control of your future and maximize your brand's power to produce results. Whether you're an individual trying to reinvent yourself and launch a new venture, or you're an executive trying to reposition your company to modernize your sales and marketing programs, Jen Morgan and the RAD Method empower you to play to your strengths and show up in the world as your most powerful brand. To learn more, go to jenmorgan.com. That's Jen with 2 N's, Morgan.com, or call 206-972-5366.
The Earth is an ever-changing being. Goddess Light Shamanic Healer Bree Gibbs guides us through the ascending worlds, bringing forth knowledge and truth. As a light creator, she is here to provide new information needed at this time in our evolution. Join Bree as she shares messages from guides, spirits, ascended masters, goddesses, and others. Tune in the second and fourth Monday, 11 a.m. Pacific, and Thursdays, 1 p.m. Pacific for Silver Gaia Radio.
Have you felt a lot of fear and self-doubt in your life where you feel like you never know what's right for you? As a result, maybe you've made yourself invisible or haven't fully put yourself out there. Hi, my name is Deb Acker. In addition to being the host of Truth Talk Radio, I'm an intuitive life coach and energy healer. I clear energy blocks to all areas of life, including stepping into your power to be confident and visible in your relationships and the world. Did you know fear, self-doubt, feeling invisible, and not feeling comfortable to put yourself out there are all linked to not being in your power? What if you could always feel powerful and on purpose at all times? I used to spend a lot of time hiding in fear and self-doubt. Now I'm not afraid to put myself out there on a bigger scale, and most importantly, I know what's right for me in every moment, and I take action accordingly. On the other side, I now help others with this, and if you're ready to be powerful and confident and let go of the fear that holds you back from a bigger life, I'd love to gift you with my pattern identification session. Simply contact me on the contact page of my website, DeborahAcker.com. That's DeborahAcker.com. And let me know you heard about this gift through Transformation Talk Radio. I look forward to connecting soon.
You know that gypsy with the gold cap too. She's got a pad and a belly floating by, selling little bottles of love potion number 9. I told her that I was a flop with chicks. I've been this way since 1956. She looked at my palm and she made a magic sign. She said, what you need is love potion number 9.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back. It's so great to have all of you tune us in and turn us on. And, you know, I love this topic. I love the conversation that we're having here with Lilith Dorsey. And we're going to go to the phones in a minute. But before we do, Lilith, the question I think I have is that, okay, I went through the book, I've read the book, and there are clearly some things in the book. Some of them are foods, you know, some of them are for traveling. Some of them are for fertility oils and baths. And here's the burning question. You know, when I cook my grandma's Italian food, I don't measure a quarter of a teaspoon of oregano or, you know, X amount of garlic. Can you tell us, if I see a potion or an oil, how precise do I have to be about putting it together? Tell us about the instructions for this. Are instructions coming with this book?
Yes, there's instructions with this book, and I'm going to explain why. I had an old Sicilian great-grandmother, and, you know, I learned how to cook, too, with a pinch of this and a pinch of that, and don't do this and don't do that, you know. So, but I think that when you were standing beside these people, your ancestors in the kitchen, your foremothers, forefathers, all of that while they were cooking, and you were learning when you were younger, you were paying attention to what was happening. If you went to go dump in a whole container of pepper, they would have stopped you. So very early, you learned what it was okay to use more of a dash of and less of a dash of. And magic works the same way. Now, if you're used to using cinnamon and you want to use a lot of cinnamon in something because you really like it, then go ahead and do that. But maybe you have a real sensitivity to it, and you know that, and use a little bit less. But there are very detailed instructions for people who maybe aren't used to doing any of this at all. And one of the things that we do follow is, like, it's good to put in things in an odd number. So in a lot of these spells, you'll see things like 3 drops of this and then 3 drops of this. And that's just because for us, odd numbers resonate more on a magical frequency. So we do it because that's the way it's always been done.
And, you know, I noticed that right out of the gate. You know, I noticed, what was I looking at? Ishtar oil and 3331, right? And I was just like, I wonder if there's a significance to that. And then also Peaceful Path oil. And so it was like, oh, that's really it was like, oh my gosh, that's really interesting. So thank you for talking about that. Now listen, we've got Ann on the phone who would love to come on. She's got a specific question, and let's see if we can get her some help. Mr. Benny, let's bring Ann on.
All right.
Ann,
Hello.
welcome to the show.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes. What is your question for Lilith? How can we help you?
My question is how to rekindle or re-spark the romantic side of our love. My husband and I have been together for over 22 years, and we still love each other, and we want to be, married, etc. But we seem to have lost the spark.
Oh, that's a great question.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm still here. That's a great question. I think that this is something that a lot of people deal with when they're in a long-term relationship and they want to keep things still going, still flowing. I usually, when somebody's in that situation, recommend things for communication, like dill is a very good thing for communication. So cooking with extra dill, using extra dill, just so you can still connect and communicate as partners. But the spell I'm going to give you that I think is perfect for your situation, people laugh at this one because it's called the Love Me Long Time spell. Hyme. It uses time from the kitchen, and that's really to rekindle and revitalize the relationship, and it includes thyme, rose, ylang ylang, and musk. So what you're going to do is take a pinch of thyme from your kitchen, take some rose petals, take 3 drops of ylang ylang oil and 3 drops of musk oil, and mix that together. You can put that under your bed. You can put it in your pocket. You can sprinkle it in the corners of the bedroom, wherever it's going to come into contact with you and your partner.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. And, hold on, because, if Benny hasn't gotten your information, you're actually going to get a copy of the book. Can I ask a question while Anna's still on the call here? Can you do a spell to spark the relationship for yourself? And how do you know what the partner wants? Do you know what I mean? Does it work for both people?
I think that that's a very important question, because there's a very fine line that we're walking here, and we want people to have free will in situations. We want people to be able to, be 100% present with their partner and have their partner be 100% present back. So I think that, if you can discuss it with your partner that you're going to be doing this to sort of bring some extra energy into the relationship. But even if you can't, I still think that there's things you can do for yourself to help put yourself in the right mindset and to help, connect to your partner.
Awesome. Thank you. And was that good? Did you get the answers to your question there?
Thank you so very much. And is it possible to get a link so that I can refer back to it once I get home?
Yeah, what's going to happen is as soon as we're done editing the show, if you go to transformationtalkradio.com or the Dr. Pat Show, you will see the interview up there for you to have from our archives. But give us time to edit this and make sure that we've got everything cleaned up for you.
Sure. Thank you so very much. I appreciate you both.
Oh, you bet. Thanks. Lilith, one of the things I wanted to ask you, what is the greatest misconception people have about magic? And what I mean by that is I was sharing a little bit about my mom and, how there was always something cooking up that she'd either, put on her bodies or tell us about. When we grew up as kids, we'd say, well, what's that for? And she'd say, oh, it's just magic. And, she grew up in a family with roots, that had remedies, that had things they used for themselves. What do you believe has been some of the greatest misconceptions and challenges that you've faced in your life about sharing this message?
I think that for a lot of reasons, magic had to be kept under wraps or in the broom closet, as we say, because people were persecuted for practicing these things, and it wasn't looked on in a positive light, not even as much in a positive light as it is today. So unfortunately, a lot of people do have to keep secret. And, this isn't my first rodeo. I've been doing magic for a very long time, my whole life. And when I first started writing about it and being a public practitioner and reader, people really were upset that I was talking about these things, that they were really wanted me to still keep it quiet because they didn't think it should be discussed. And they were afraid of what was going to happen if we did start to discuss it. So I think it's been a very long process of sort of undoing that. And we're still working on undoing that today because, you look at people, my daughter is 26, you look at people, millennials, her generation, they finally feel comfortable saying openly that they're doing these things. But for a long time, that wasn't the case. So I think that's been the biggest struggle. And for me personally, we used to have people come out to my rituals and threaten to shut us down, not just people of, Christian backgrounds, people of all backgrounds. And again, that still happens today, that people think we're, speaking things that are evil, even though our message is very clearly about love and about loving people that are around us and loving our ancestors and honoring the earth and all of those things.
Yeah. What do you think our contemporary pop culture fascination is right now with magic? Because I think I alluded to this before. Clearly J.K. Rowling, opened up the door, right? But I don't believe that was the origin of our fascination. But she certainly opened up the door with the Harry Potter series, and of course now is considering writing another series of books. But hit television shows on magicians, hit movies, can you just share what you think the perspective is? What are we in search for here? And are we getting what we really desire?
Well, I think there's two things people are searching for. On the positive side, I think they're searching for this ancestral connection, this connection to the past. We don't have answers for a lot of the problems that we have in society today. So people are looking to the past to see if there are answers there. And in a lot of times we can find answers there. But I also think, unfortunately, because of the way the media portrays it, and this would probably be my second biggest problem with things, is that people want a quick fix. And magic does not provide a quick fix. It might provide a quicker fix, but like anything else, you don't go to the doctor and expect to be healed the minute you walk out of the office. There's things you need to do along the way in order to help yourself and to get better. And maybe it's not necessarily going to be you blink your eyes like, I grew up with Bewitched, twitching her nose.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily work like that. So for those who think magic is going to be a quick fix and everything's going to be perfect, that's really not the way it's going to be.
Totally. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the least known spells, potions, lotions that Lilith has created. Least known, but super uber powerful. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for the perfect setting for your next workshop or retreat? At Spirit Fire Meditative Retreat Center, cultivating consciousness is what we do best. Our guests count on us to create an atmosphere that supports serenity and well-being. We lead from the heart and create space for the mind. Freshly prepared meals designed with local and organic ingredients, 95 acres of beautiful woods and pastures, and a facility built with green in mind. This is what you'll find at Spirit Fire. For more information, visit spiritfireretreatcenter.com.
Are you ready to start winning at the game of life? Lynn Brown, host of Get Into It, Winning at the Game of Life, is here to help you reach places and goals that you never thought possible. Lynn is an intuitive healer with a specialized background in financial healing. She combines her intuitive nature and her wholesome approach to financial planning. To learn more about her financial planning services, contact her personally at intuit.com.
Do you ever feel as if you're working twice as hard but only getting half as far? Are you trying to connect with your path in life and finding it elusive? Mainstream Metaphysics Radio is a weekly call-in show where we harness our connection with the universe and use what is in our power to affect change for optimal success and happiness. This hit show bridges the divide between what is and what we do not know. Eve, named one of the country's top psychics, also known as the MBA Psychic, invites you on this journey for this live call-in show with readings, featured guests, leaders, and visionaries in both business and spiritual callings. So join Eve Thursdays at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com as she takes metaphysics mainstream. For more information about Eve, visit EliteTarot.com. That's EliteTarot.com.
Are you ready to tap into the healer within? Hi, I'm Mary Jane Mack. Did you know the real doctor is the source that lives within you, that heals within you minute by minute every day? The healer within is the innate intelligence of the human body. When we cut our hand with a piece of glass, we don't have to command the body to close the wound and grow new skin. It knows how to heal itself. We do have to nourish the skin by disinfecting it and remove the glass, or it cannot heal. The innate healer relies upon us to assist in this healing process. Our role is to identify its needs, provide the substances required for the healing, and remove the obstacle. Contact us to achieve optimal health at 888-777-4232. That's 888-777-4232. And visit us at maryjanemack.com.
Hey, everybody, it's great to have you all tune us in, turn us on. For more information about us, go to the drpatshow.com or transformationtalkradio.com. For more information about me, that's where you can find me until my website is up. For those of you, crust busting is up as well. But today it's all about Lilith Dorsey. LilithDorsey.com is the website. The book is Love Magic. Lilith, how can people get a copy of the book?
They can go on any of the major online retailers and get a copy of the book. It's in a lot of bookstores, so, it's out there.
Awesome. So for those of you out there, we have been taking your calls and questions. One of the questions that did come in was a question about some of these potions. Yep, we have mentioned a lot of the more common, right? But the question, I think, is, and maybe you already talked about this when you gave us your top 5, but are there lesser known of these potions or spells that are super powerful, but not known to many, many people? And I guess when I read the book, I was thinking to myself, there's a lot of these I didn't know about. But in your world, is there, Lilith, like one of your least known, but might be something people might want to go to?
Well, I think there's a lot of lesser energies that I work with because I am a New Orleans style voodoo priestess that people are unfamiliar with. And there's one spell I have in here for Urzuli Freda, which some people know about her, some people don't. But when she manifests, a lot of times she's very sad because people don't live up to their best selves. Which is, I think, something we understand all too well today. You know what I mean? Sometimes people don't always vote the way we want them to, or take the job we want them to take, or do anything that we think would be in their best interest, and that makes her really sad. So there's a spell in here for sort of healing those aspects and moving forward in love and having love in your life. And it includes just taking some grapes and wrapping them up in white lace and taking them to a waterfall along with some white flowers. So that's just sort of to ask for clarity and understanding in the situations where you might not be feeling the best love was manifesting and happening right at the time.
Awesome. And, for you, every day I would imagine you're discovering something new. How do you discover new potions? Tell us about how that works for you.
Well, for years I've been working for myself and for my clients and my friends and trying to help them out with different situations that they might have with love. And as I mentioned, I've been doing this for over 25 years. So I've come across a lot of different problems that people have out there. So I've had to sort of try and test out a lot of different solutions and a lot of different spells. And I also think one of the things that really helped me is when I was learning and coming up with some of the, more well-known names in magic and witchcraft, like Isaac Bonowitz and things like that. I would ask them what their favorites were for love and then try those out for myself, for my clients and things like that. So it really gave me an extended perspective, also drawing on my anthropological knowledge and the history of some of these things. You mentioned I have a minor in plant science, so my knowledge of herbs and how those operate differently in different cultures around the globe. And then, like I said, just trying them out and seeing what worked for people and what didn't.
Well, and this is really kind of what I love about this is trying something, see if it works, and then move on. Is there a guideline? And this was the guideline for me that I came up with, and I was sharing a little bit about, a friend of mine, but there's a guideline. Some people would get a book like this and they'd say, oh, I'm going to try this, and this one like right now. And I want to talk about the process of this and what folks should be mindful of. If I want to, do the truth will come out incense, right? Then maybe I don't want to, top that off 10 minutes later with Obsession Be Gone candle. So can you tell folks, is there a way that we should be mindful of in really using these potions?
Well, I think before doing anything, you should really think about what it is that you want. I have spells in there where you actually write down what it is you want in a relationship, what it is you want in the situation, and really think about it. If you're feeling a little too close to it or too obsessed by it, run it by a friend of yours or another advisor and see, what they think about it. Oh, would it be good for me to do this thing where the truth is going to come out? Well, maybe you don't want the truth right now. What's the quote? You can't handle the truth. Maybe that's not something you want in your life. So maybe you need to do a gentleness spell or a happiness spell for yourself first and then move on to the truth spell, or maybe you're just fed up and you really want to know what's going on. So move to the truth spell, but then have the happiness bath ready for later that night, because maybe what you find won't make you so happy and you'll need to sort of bring some joy back into your life. So think about that. But I also do advise people do some kind of divination. If they do their own divination, that's great. Cards or dowsing rods or any kind of divination that you do, just to say, oh, is this the spell I should do tonight? Is this what's going to make me happy? Is this what's going to bring me the best love for me right now? And just sort of allow yourself the possibility that maybe there is something better out there. I tell a story in the book about a friend of mine who did a really elaborate love spell. She wanted somebody that was faithful and kind and loyal and always by her side, and she ended up with a German Shepherd. So I think that it happens sometimes that we can be a little misguided in ourselves, but maybe she got what she really needed in that situation.
Exactly. And one of the things I wanted to talk with you about, and I'm glad I saved enough time, is the whole idea of fairies and fairy blessings. Along with magic, we have seen the rise of fairy energy, fairy blessings, you name it, it's there. Some people look at it as Lemurian, but you have a spell in here. Can you tell us about fairies, fairy blessings, and how it can help people?
I think that most people have a very different idea of fairies from what, traditional Celtic history and lore is. I've spent some time in Ireland, and a lot of my good friends are Irish witches and magicians and things like that. And I think that the fairies operate to teach us what's important in life. That's what they do at their core. But they're not always these nice little Tinkerbell figures that come to us. Some of them are very serious, but they can help you on a variety of different ways. I find them very helpful with protection and things like that. There's a wonderful fairy spell I love where you have to turn everything in your house upside down. I just love that idea. But, that's supposed to make them happy and make them, bring fairy blessings to you. But there's a lot of different ways I think we can incorporate that traditional energy. We should just be mindful that it's very different than the Disney concept of what we've been taught.
Oh, awesome. Okay. So today, let me ask you this question. It is Valentine's Day. So for people that are listening and didn't call in with a specific question, tell me, what do you recommend to really get today nice and juicy for people?
I like that. I think one of the great things about the holiday is, we have all these things right at the ready that we can use for our spells or our potions or our magic. So go and, grab a candle from the store and put some love stuff on it. Maybe you want to see your love. There's a great spell I have in here for Thea, which is supposed to bring vision of love. So maybe you don't have love, or maybe your love is just starting and you really want to see where it's going to go. So you can take a yellow candle and some sunflower oil and some rose petals and some rose quartz and some river water, and put all of those together and light it and really meditate on seeing and having the clarity for the love that you need. See it coming to you. You know, I'm all about positive visualization, and a lot of the things we use in our magic are to help us with this positive visualization. So by using the herbs and the crystal and the candle for focus, we can bring that to us.
I love it. Thank you so much for joining me today. And I love what you've done in this book. So thank you so much for all of that and the message you bring into the world. One last question. What's your personal message? What would you like to leave us with today?
Everybody remember to love themselves. And I don't mean that in a dirty way. I mean that we have to love ourselves and treat ourselves with kindness and love and blessings. And that will just bring more kindness and love and blessings to us in our lives. And that's the most important thing, whether we're in a relationship or not.
Wow, thank you so much. For those of you out there, love magic. Lilith Dorsey is the author. It's just a really fun and fabulous book. There is something in here for everyone. Some of these I mentioned. Lilith, thank you for doing this today. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much. It was such a pleasure. I had such a good time.
And you know what? This is a book that will last you for a lifetime. Thank you all, and stay tuned. Another hour on Transformation Talk Radio coming up now.
Preceding audio was via a Skype call.